Should do it tomorrow, maybe. Not too sure. Yo, what's up? Well, it's time for us to sample. We must sample something. We got to grab something, sample it, and put it into the system and use it. Now, we're going to get real funky now. We're going to use samples from all kind of places. So check this out. We're going to get funky. Give me that turntable over there. Get those samples behind that couch. And get that one over there in that girl's lap. Okay, now remember, this is our audio output. This is our right and our left audio outputs. And right here is our samples. Our sample comes into here, and we're going to hear it back in our audio system from the outputs here. Or plug your headset in, and you'll be able to hear back what you can record into your Korg Triton Extreme. Okay, here's our sampler, of course, and we've got our sample section, which is right here, as you already know. Now, we're going to take these outputs from our CD player. We're going to put here in 2 and 1, or 1 and 2. See that? We have 1 and 2. These outputs come from our CD player. We're going to input into our Korg Triton. And we're setting ourselves up to go into line. See this line? Right here's line. We're going to go into line. See that? Cool. Okay, right here we have our CD player right over here. And we've got our CD inside. As you can see, one of our samples off the record CDs. Right there. We'll take it, flip it in there. And I'll listen back to some samples, and we'll try to make a new track up. Okay, it's time to sample. Let's sample something up. First, we're going to go to mode, and we're going to press sample. The sample button, and now we're in sample mode. Now, the ability right now to create a sample. What we're going to do right here is we're going to create a sample at a new program. Instead of multi-program, or multi-sample rather. It's called New Multi-Sample 000. Our range will be from this C here all the way up to B2. See that? From C-1 to B2. That's from here to here. This is the distance within this group. Each one of these notes will have the sample on it. Next, we're going to make sure we're setting it to the RAM, in this case, and we're going to make sure the sampling mode is at the stereo. Okay, next we're going to go to input. We press input setup. Now, as you can see here, we're in analog. We're going analog input. Our level is set to 127. Now the panning is set to just L00. That's going to give us a full left side. We want to actually go to the center, just 64. Now we have full stereo panning. And we're going to input 1. Go here. We want to make sure that we're in left and right. Left and right there. And we're going to receive left and right. So we're going to go in here, analog signal is coming in, then it's going this way, where it's going to left and right, and it's going to receive the source bus input for the sample recording, which is the recording setup. It's going to receive it from left and right. So our input will go directly into our machine. Next, we have triggering, we've got metronome, we also have here resample. In this case right now, to trigger the sample, we're going to want to use threshold. Now, threshold has to do with when a sample gets real loud, or loud enough, they're going to pass a certain threshold. You'll see these little lines right, these little peak-like indicators right here on the side of our left and right. We can move the cursor here. We want to get, let's say, around to 30 dB. See these things moving there? They're moving as we lower the threshold level. When the sound passes these little peak tabs here on the sides of our left and right meters, it will start sampling. So we're going about 35. Minus 35 dB, as you can see right there. Okay, we also have our pre-trigger record level. This is the level where the sampler will start to record just before it reaches that peak. So that way we can get the full first bass drum or the first hit, so you don't miss that little bit of the start of the sample. And it gets recorded also along once it passes peak. Once it passes peak area, it'll continue recording, but right before it records, we want to get about maybe 5 6 or 7. I don't know if it's 6 milliseconds prior to it reaching that peak. That's important to set that up also. Next, as I said before, we have a sample. Let's start turning the sample on right here. Let's turn this on here. I'll pop it in. Okay, we got samples coming in. In order to hear them, we have to press the sample start. Sample record. Now see that? Some sample record. You can see what happened here? Recording level was way too high. Way too high. We gotta bring it down. And notice also here, it's only on the left. I will now go here. That's the default whenever you go into sampling. Make sure you're in left and right in center position, which is right there. And now, put the symbol back on. Now you can see both sides. You can see both sides, the left and the right side. Now, if we're too loud, what happens here is that we go past the peak. So what we need to do right now, we need to bring the level down. We'll use the input button on the back of our Core Triton Extreme, next to the input, and turn the level down. Level down a little more. See, the more I bring the level down, I'm controlling from the back of my Core Triton Extreme. You get too loud right there, see that? You don't want that. You don't want it too loud. Now I'm ready to sample. We'll just hit record. We got a sample. We'll press stop. And now we'll check the sample. Okay, once we have our sample, we may need to edit that sample. Let's go back here. And we're going to press menu. We'll hit edit loop. As you can see, that's our sample. We can make it a little bigger to see it. And we can zoom in. Now the sample will appear on the first part of the keyboard. We'll show you that next. Now, as I said before, our sample is within a range of here from C -1 to B2. As you can see right here, that's the range of the sample. If I named it, it's called new sample. And now we're going to check it out. Here's our first sample. The rest of them are going further up in half steps. That's B2. This is -C1. That's B2. If I go further, there are no more sample sounds. So it fits the diagram that we see here on the top of our menu. Now we see our sample. I click here for start. That's the start of my sample. I've got loop check. See that? I want to loop this sample up. Now, move my cursor. I want to make sure I'm on the direct start of the sample. Getting closer. And we can see the beginning of our sample. And now we're going back here to loop end. And here on loop end, I want to make sure I'm at the end of my sample. So move our cursor closer to the end of the sample by turning my data wheel. See that? Getting closer. That's the end of the sample right about there. I want to zoom in a little bit so I can see exactly where I'm at here at the end. I want to come back on right there. Maybe a little closer. I'll zoom in a little more. I want to get right where it crosses the axis there. What they call a transient. A transient is like where the waveform crosses the axis here. This is the transient here. So we want to get right between these two pieces. That's where probably where it directly ends at. Now to make sure that's proper, I'm gonna hold the key down. It's looped. You see that? That's how it's done. Okay, I got a sample. It looped. Sounds pretty good. Okay, the next thing I want to do now is I want to see the whole thing in a grid and get some idea of what the sample's tempo is. Now, what I'm going to do right here, I'm going to go to our screen. I'm going to come up here where it says grid. Grid right there. Now we've got a grid. And we're going to make our resolution quarter notes. I said okay. Now the tempo is not 120. I'm going to say the tempo to be around maybe, I don't know, maybe a little faster, maybe about here, or 98. I'm not too sure. I'm going to shrink back this view. And you notice we have a grid here. You'll see a grid within the whole sample area here. So you chuck that to a grid where it's cut the whole sample size up to a particular tempo. So I'm going to hold this down. And I'm going to find out what the tempo of this is going to be. So I'm going to do right here is I'm going to go back at my sample, make sure I have the whole sample I want at the beginning and the end. I want to chop off whatever extra time I added to the beginning or the end of the sample. Okay, now we're going to truncate our sample, which means we're going to take off some parts we don't want and keep what we do want to keep. We're going to truncate. And here we can see our truncate menu. We have truncate sample. It's a stereo sample, as we know. Start point and the end point. See that? Our start and our end. I already set the endpoint. We'll cancel out of this. You see that's my endpoint that I already set up earlier. I'll go back to here to truncate. That's what I want. I want to get rid of the end and the front. The front and the end will be chopped off. Or you can just chop the front off or the end. In this case, both. I'll press OK. And now I truncated my sample. Cool. And here's the whole sample. See it right here. That's our entire sample right there. Now, you'll be able to see these little lines going across in the grid. And the whole idea is to get it to be right, the transient, that line, the largest line, which represents a beat or a kick or something, or a snare drum, to be right on the edge of any one of these lines here in our grid. Okay, we've got our sample, of course, right there. We've added grid mode. We've also truncated our sample up. We don't see these little grids here, like a little line, little dotted line going down in those three spots. This is like a 1 bar loop. So you make sure that our grid mode is set up for these 4 beats in 1 bar. Well, I'm also set for 100. Now I know it's 100 because I've tested it before and I actually did the sample on the computer. This is the sample speed of this particular sample. And how we find that sometimes, we're actually using our Korg Triton Extreme. Once we put it in grid mode, and make sure these lines lined up on the transients, the part where the downbeat comes, let's say, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and loops over there. So I can press the first key, and the sample plays straight through. Well, now I'm going to move my line over here. I'm going to move this cursor into the end. I'll click right here where it says the end of my loop. We're still in loop playback. I'll move it to the middle of it. Right there, I'm right on top of that line. I'll press the first key, which is C-1. So I'm looping just 2 bars. Rather, just half a bar. From here to here. Boom, that, boom, that, that. See that? I can go here and get 1 beat. Move the cursor there over there that way. Move it closer to that next line, that dotted line, going down this grid mode here. We move our endpoint there. See how I move my endpoint? I'll press that first key down on the keyboard, C-1. And now, I'm only playing this 1 beat. The boom, 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 boom. See that? And we just looped up the 1 beat, the 2 beats, and then the whole loop. I can also move my cursor back to the end. Press the first key down. We've got our loop. Okay, now we're going to time stretch our sample. Very popular in music today. We'll take the sample and actually stretch it out some, so it fits a tempo or beats and bars. Here we go. We have a time slice. Click on right here, and now our time slice is being prepared. Okay, it gives us 102 as our time slice. We want that. We'll press OK. Now that's 4 beats in 1 bar. So this is a 1 bar loop, as we already know. And now I'm going to go to save. Now here in save, we have our time stretch, the source, the time stretch you want to use right now, and we have the program it's stored in. We're going to have it on track, right? It's going to be a track within this song. Okay. We're at 44, rather 4 over 4, which are meter. And we have the very first second of that track. We'll press save. And now we'll exit. I'm going to press sequence in the mode section. And now we see a sequence here. I'll press play start on my sequencer. Now, we'll show you what the sample did. And so we have our samples chopped up into slices, time slices here, each piece. Got that? And nothing there. Now, I'll press play start here on my sequencer. Right here, start my sample and loop in this program. But first, I want to go to here on the screen. And this is my loop section. I want to make sure my first track in this sequence is set to loop. I got loop on or loop off. Now loop is on. Only 1 bar. I'll press start on my sequencer. Go back there. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I've looped the beat. That's pretty cool. Now watch this though. I'll turn it back on again. I'll press stop. I'll go to locate from the top again. Press start. And here we are on this tempo. 105. I will now turn my data wheel. See what the 103? Look at that. We're at 102 now. We can turn that sample and time pitch it along. See that? But to get more space. Slower you go, more space. When we get a little above the original tempo, and we get a much tighter feel. And we have this 1 loop, which is on this track here, the first track here. As you can see here, that's it right there. That's our multi-sample, okay? And here's put our last open user bank here in E. So that's E, where our sampling is. Now, I'm going to press OK. I can go here even, and let's say select the bass. Pick any bass along here, maybe if I like to, or pluck bass or finger bass. Press OK, and select a new track. What some guys are doing actually today, they're actually either playing a bass line or writing some beats to the actual sample. So I can add a sample or a loop to this with a bass line. I got a loop going on. I can make a bass line to go with this track. I can press record and get the right tempo, of course. My tempo should be for the song. We said about 105, 107. Right about there. And now I'll press locate on my sequencer and play start. Actually record first. Now start. One. So I'm going to just do that one piece like that. Next, what I'll do is I'll take that one part I've got and locate. I'll stop it. If I go here to this track, I'll loop it. I want to loop this first track, that one there. And that's actually 2 bars. I'm going to 2-bar loop right there. Okay. I'll press start. Press stop, locate first, and start. We got a bass line going along with our track. We can solo it. Next, we can add some more parts. Okay, we even add a keyboard part to this. We go to keyboard, select our sound. Let me try this wild whirly right there. Press OK. And now, we'll make sure on the same track. We're going to record on track 3, so it must be in track 3. And here's our sound, wah, whirly. Of course, here's track 3. Well now, I'll press locate, record. We got our metronome going. And the next thing we're going to do, I'm going to play a part. Okay, now I'm ready to add to my sequence of the drums and the bass line, my drum loop. I've got a new track selected, of course, and now I'm going to press locate, press record, start from the top of the sequence, and of course we're on track number 3. I'll press the start sign, start button's pressed, on the right key. I'll press stop, locate again, and now I'll go back to loop. Now here in loop, I'm going to set the next track to loop. I'll make this one 4 bars. Turn my data wheel. That's a 4-bar loop. The first one's a 1, this is a 2, this is 4. Now, I'll press locate, then play start. Actually start, stop from the top on the sequencer. Mix that up also. So we can mix our tracks right here in our sequencer section, which is our mixer section for 1 through 8. Okay, we've got our samples. We've got 2 sounds from in our Korg Triton that we're using in our sequencer, our bass and our keyboard. Next, you can even add some drums on top of the sample. This is really cool once you have the right tempo with your sample. We'll select a new track. We'll press OK. And that new track now is going to be track number 4 I'm going to record to. And next, we'll press play, start. I should press locate first. Drum parts here on the keyboard. Okay, I've got an idea on the play. Let's play something. Okay, now I'm gonna play a beat to this. I'm gonna press locate first. Then I'm gonna press record. It's got the right drums I want to use. Okay, record. Now I'll press. Stop. Now, in order to make sure it's quantized properly, you should always record at the quantized value you want set for. Right now it's at high. Now watch how it happens. I'll press locate and press start play. See, it's almost not quantized. We're going to go back here. We can actually quantize that track. We can go here to menu. We'll go to track edit. Press the top of our view screen. We're going to quantize. And here, we'll select the measures. We're going to quantize from, I guess, either to 4. Maybe this will do 2-bar quantize. Make a 2-bar loop out of that anyway. And here we are. That's track 4. We're going to quantize from the beat, end of the beat, and to quantize all values. Resolution here will make it into a quarter, eighths, eighth note, triplets, and 16th notes. We'll press OK. And next, we'll play our loop. And now we'll play the loop. We'll press locate, then start stop button. Sounds good. We'll go back here. We'll press exit. Next, I'll go to preferences. I got override. I'm gonna do overdub right now. And next, besides doing overdub, I just want to make sure I pick the right sound. I want overdub on that track. I'll use this hi-hat right there. I'm still on track number 4. I'll press locate, then I'll press record, and I'll press, let me see. Right. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Play it back, press locate. A little out of sync. Now how to avoid that with our stop start thing, we can go right back here. We can compare actually without it. Press locate. Okay, I want to use this one. If we go to compare again, what will happen is we'll play back the hi-hat we just made. We don't want that. So right now we're going to go back. We're going to press locate and record. We're going to re-record our hi-hat again. But first, we're going to make sure our resolution, at the resolution we picked earlier, which is 16th notes right there, as you can see. Next, I'll press locate, record, pick the right sound, and press the start stop button on my sequencer. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Stop. We know that sequence, which is number S00, which is our new song here, it's a sequence. I'll press the play loop. And here in that track, the drum track, I'm going to make this drum track loop to, let's see, you got the first beat, make a loop to 2. And next, I'll go back to my sequence. It's right here where I'm still in the sequence. And I'll press locate and start. Now we got a hi-hat in there. Let's turn the loop off actually. Parts on and off. See that? You're gonna mix your parts in. Okay, now I'm gonna use my bass guitar. I got a bass guitar right here that I play. So my bass guitar right here's the bass guitar I've got. I'm gonna play my bass guitar and sample it right here into my Triton Extreme. Okay, we're gonna go right in here. We're gonna record our Triton Extreme. We're gonna right to our main screen right here. I'm gonna show you something. We're here in sequence mode. We can go to sampling by pressing sampling right there. Now we can sample within the sequence. I've set my sampler, of course, analog input in, and of course it goes to input here. Make sure I'm in 1 and 2. I'm using the 1 and 2 outputs in the back of my Korg Triton. Next, I'll put the 1 cable in because it's only a mono. So to make sure I go down to here, I'm in mono mode to take just one actual sound, and that my guitar is in that mono input, left input rather, which is going to be 1. And that's going to be sampling to the left side of stereo, which is the mono left. Next, we're going to go here to bank, top of our actually sampling in sequence mode, and we're going to take this, we're going to select the bank and set up a number for that. We're here in the bank, of course using RAM, and here we're going to use the same, as you can see there, the multi-tempo section in E, that's 15. We're here in the same bank right there, and now we got a track. Always go to track. Select track number 6. So all my events will appear in track number 6, and my sample, when I hit it, will be, make sure my sample's at C. Let's go back to, move that to like, to C. I'll turn my sample down here. C sharp, we got it. And we'll press OK. Now, I'm ready to record. First, I have to do one more thing. I want to make sure when I go to record, I'm going to go to our sample record, right there, and then I'll do my sample start. Got that? Next, it'll start sampling when we first turn on. You'll see this, because right here on our screen display, look at the screen, it says, see right here in the screen display, that says, right there, sequencer start when the switch will turn on the sample. I'll trigger the sample right there. We're set for that point. I'll turn this sample off, and you can see that. It's grayed out. We can either have note, sample start when switched on from sequencer start, threshold, or sequencer start. Here we go, sampling start switch. We're going to go with sequencer start. I'll press record and start on my sampler again. And next, I'll sit down here. Make sure I got the right parts here. Okay, I've got my guitar plugged. The output for my guitar is right here. Okay? I'll take it and I'll put it here. I'll put it in 1. I'll put it into 1 right there. Okay? And the other end goes into my guitar. Right over here. This could be a microphone or anything else I want to record. This time I'm recording my bass guitar. Now next, the bass guitar will be heard on the output of 1. So here I'm using my output left and right. We'll zoom in there and show you this is right and this is left. Well, I've got my input on 1. I'm going to set it to input 1. I'm going to take a 1 sample anyway. And we're going to be able to hear back the input. In sequence mode, we'll hear this out. So we'll hear the left side, which is the mono side, and the right side, we'll be hearing back the guitar. And I'll play the guitar right here. And we're hearing this guitar through an audio system because right here in the back, we have it set up for the hear back of the sample coming in. It's coming in through 1. You got that? It's set for 1. It's already set for that left mono we showed you earlier. Okay, let's record our guitar part. So I got my bass here. I'll play a little part on top of it. Of course, I press record first on my sampler to get my sampler armed. Make sure my input's proper on my system. So make sure we see the input right here. As you can see, turn my sound if I want to turn it up a little bit more. A little overloaded, bring it down some. Alright, great. Now, we're going to go back to our sampler. We're going to press start sampling. See? And I want to start sampling until I press the start switch here. Remember? Okay, let's make sure we're at locate. Start switch here we'll press to get it started. I'll press locate, and here we go. Okay, now I play the little bass part. I'm going to play it back. We'll press locate and we'll press start. So I'm not playing, as you can see. I can even solo that part. See that? I'll press locate again. I'll mute it. So something's going to be too loud. Adjust your sounds. But you can actually put a vocal in there or some sort of part if you'd like to. You can record whatever you want to record through your input switch on the back of your Triton Extreme. Record that in there. We're going to start. We've got a new track. We're going to go to locate. We're going to record sequence. 2. Right. All right. Okay, we got a beat here. Put the beat on. Good. Okay, good. Put some keyboards for us now. Let's record something. That's good. You're gonna loop it. Back at the top, we'll press loop and go to that keyboard track and make it 4 bars. That's 4, right? Let's hear that back. That's pretty good. Let's do a bass line now. Okay. Let's record a bass line now. 2, 3, go. Perfect. Now we'll loop it. Got the loop. And we'll loop that one too. And make that 4 bars also. Good. Okay. Okay, Dave, we'll add one more part here. We're going to locate. You ready? Mm-hmm. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. You know what to do. Perfect. Let's try and put that back from the top. Let's loop that track also. And that track's right there. And we'll do 4 bars. Great. Pretty good. This one. Oh, first note's bad. Let's try it again. All right. Let's go back to the top. Make sure we're in overwrite. Let's go to overwrite. And make sure we're there. And now we'll press 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, go. Stop. We'll take that track and we'll go to loop and we'll put this track in the loop. So we'll do this one for 8 bars. That's 8 now, right? Mm-hmm. And we'll press locate and play start. Now here we have everything on our keyboard. I'll press solo here for the drums. Our loop is right there. We can change the pitch of everything. The loop is already time sliced. See, slow it down, so speed it up. I can add little parts in. Lower the pitch of our track. So we can lower the speed of our track without actually changing the pitch of the sample loop that we hear. Okay, here's where we put our compact flash right there. It's important to make sure that your machine is cut off. Totally. Turned off, no power at all. Then insert your compact flash into the slot. This little lever here will come out. And that way you know you're securely in. It's important to be very secure when you're actually installing your compact flash card. Well, you want to also hook up maybe a USB device of some sort. In this case, we're going to use our little Sans compact flash. That's in a compact flash drive device right there, as you can see. And we've hooked it up USB on the A side right here. Okay, now that I have my compact flash memory stored, installed rather into my Korg Triton Extreme, and I also have my extra memory, which is right here on this separate compact flash. Actually, it's a compact flash reader. I'm now going to actually look at both these compact flashes. First, we'll press media. Once we press media, we'll see here any other items we have that might be connected to our system. In this case, we see the compact flash. It's our MPC 1000 compact flash, our sounds for the Triton. We also have an RDD with no label. That's this device I have right here. We're going to format this compact flash memory. I'll click there. We'll click Utility. And in Utility, we go to Format, which is right there. And now we can format this compact flash card. We have a quick format, which will format very quickly. We have the FAT16 or 3216, which took a little bit longer to actually format. And we have the full format. In this case, I just want to probably just quick format it. And also, we can name our sound. See it right there? We can press clear and name it. And delete and press OK. So now it says new volume. Next, I'll format the drive. Are you sure? Okay. And now we're formatted, and it's been formatted. We're ready to save to this compact flash now. Okay. Sampler set up again. We're going to take a couple of samples and make a real beat up from something. We're all hooked up. And now we've got our pre-trigger. We're in sample mode. I'll press the sample. CD. Now I'm ready to sample right over here. And we got our sample. Let's take some more samples. Let's sample the next one. Oh, we got that. Okay, now I've got one sample here already. It's my drum loop. I'll put the next sample in. I'm going to create that sample. I'm going to go right here to Preferences. So instead of making it 12 keys, I can go right here. I want to make that one sample that's one key. Here's one right there. That's set. Go to Program. Go to Create. So I can create one more key. So that means the next sample will be the next step. That'll be D3. Okay, I'm going to sample something else. Now I'll sample another new sample. Got this one. Oh. Okay, we got some other samples in. Not that one.
Another laid-back track.
That's what we want right there.
Another laid-back track.
Perfect. Okay, forgot my samples. I want to probably save them to disk. Here's how we do that. Okay, now we'll press the media button on our Triton. Media button is depressed. And now I'm going to press Utility. You can see over the media screen and what's on our media. On Utility, I'm going to press Format. Now I can format my compact flash. You can see it says compact flash right there. I'm going to format my compact flash, which is right there. And once I format that, I'm good to go. So we go to Utility, Format, do a quick format, press OK. Are you sure? I press OK. It's now formatting that disk and clearing it all out. See? Everything's disappeared. Next, I want to press Save. Now, I want to save some data to this actual file. Alright, next I'll press Save. And I'll press Save up here, top of our menu, and I'll press Save Sampling Data. So I'll save all the samples I've put into the Triton to this point. Okay? It says all, and I have this is Save Multi-Samples and Samples Data. I want to do that. It's going to be called the new file. I can name the file if I want to. I can clear it and call it S-K-I-N-G-S, Skings 102, which is 10 for this point. I'll say okay. And that's what it's going to be called. See that? And I'll save the samples in the folder and the actual KSC. It's the chord scripts file I'm going to use. That will tell those samples where they go on the keyboard. Now I'll press, I'll press OK, and now it's saving those samples to the compact flash. And once it's done, we'll see them all there on the file. Okay, we can see right here we have our KSC script, that's our core script file. We have our samples are right here in this folder that you call Skings 10, as you can see right there. Well, that's been done. Well, now it's time to go back to making the beat. Now we got to save to our compact flash. Make sure you keep your data saved and stored on your compact flash card. It's always important to back up your data constantly. Okay, we're going to add some extra memory to our Korg Triton Extreme. First, we'll open the box. As you can see there, we have one card in. This is one 16 meg card that comes with your Korg Triton Extreme. Okay, I'm going to add some extra memory to my Triton. Here we have a 16 meg board, one of our own here that we sold Sample Kings. They're designed for us in Japan. Make sure you pull the clip out on the edge of each one of these lines here and sort of lay it sort of sideways there. Make sure you're in a groove, and then go straight up. Now I'm going to add another card, 16 meg. It's sort of like there's little clips on the side here. So what I do is like sort of put the card in a slot. I move these little clips out, then I push the card up, it snaps into place. Okay, once we have all our cards in, make sure they're firmly in place. And your machine should also be off. To make sure your Korg Triton Extreme is off when you start putting it in, and even once you get through putting it in. And make sure you're not on a rug. If you're on a rug, you create static electricity. We close our lid. Make sure the lid is securely closed. Great. Okay, we're powering up our Korg Triton Extreme right now. And as you can see there, we have 16 megs on each slot. I can now add effects to any song I want to add effects to. I'll go to Menu, I can go to Insert, and I can add effects. I can put on or off here. The first page is our routing page, you can see here. Select the track you want to route a sound to. So, for example, we'll select 5, and we'll select the send. We'll say FX4. Now, we'll go right here to FX4. To our insert effects. And before we turn it on, we select the effect we want to get. Let's say here we want to get some sort of, this sound. And we'll press play. Splitter right there. So you'll select whatever effect you want to select for any particular track. You would have one here for our loop. We'll turn it on again. Another loop without the sound. for the loop. Press OK. And we have it. Okay, we've got a song here. I'll press the locate button first and then start. This is my mixer section for my 1 through 8 tracks. I'm gonna turn a little rap, laid back track sound off. When a guy's saying that, turn it down some. I'm gonna adjust my sounds. I want to add some effects to these sounds. Here's how it would work. I press the menu button, press insert effects. Let's say I want to use this bright room. I'll pick a sound I want to use here. Let's say the bright room is good, I like that. I'll go exit, and I'll select, let's say, my drum loop. I've got my drum loop right there, right? I'll go back to menu, insert effects, and now I can route that to the drum loop, which is right here on this track, you can see here. And it's going to affect 1 or IFX2, see that? So I can go to here, I can say go to 1 if I want to. And I can go back to my effect, I can turn it on. Hear that? This is a really classic thing to do with some sort of drum loop, is add an effect to it and sort of put it below the track a little bit, if you'd like to do that. So here I also have my drums. I'll go back to my sequencer section. I'll press exit, and here I'll turn. Hear that sound? They're both into the same effect. We can prove that. I'll press menu, go to insert effect, go to my insert effect right here, and they're both utilizing that piece right there. What I might want to do is press exit. I see, I have a new pop drum kit there. I'll send that kit, I'll route it differently. We want to have some drums with some sort of effect. You hear a little difference there? Now watch this. I'll go back to the insert again. I'll turn the reverb on. So we can add effects to our drums. It's really cool, or to any sound actually that we have in our Korg Triton stream on any particular track. Now watch this here. I'll press exit from this window and I'll press sequence. Here I am in the sequence section, as you can see. I'm going to press this and go to solo 1. It's also this track right here with the track that contains that wrapper on it. Little wrap vocal I have on there. Now, I'm going to go back to menu, press insert effect, and I want to probably put a delay on him. So I'm going to go to the routing. I know he's here right here in that system. I want to set him to 4. Now, of course, you can't use IFX5 unless you have that new card that they have that you can get from any Korg dealer, and the ability to use extra effects in your machine. So actually I have 1 through 4 in the basic setup of our Korg Triton Extreme. I went to 4 right there. Now what's in 4, we'll see, is I have this, this is a BPM, actually, yeah, 100 BPM long delay. I'll put that on. And now I'm going to go back to playing the track. We hear our effects on the drums. Now reverb on that main kick.
Another laid back track.
Hear that?
Another laid back track.
So it's delaying. I can turn this off. So you can hear that's in a reverb. Got my bass here. Put one part
Another
in.
laid back track.
So we can actually sort of mix it and get an idea how each part sounds. We can add effects to bring out more elements in our sequence. Okay, now we got a special treat for you. We're going to pull out an MPC, and we're going to show you how we can sync up an MPC with our Korg Triton Extreme. It's very important to use it with other, of course, sequencer samplers to get a diversified sound in your production. Check this out. Okay, right here we've got some MIDI cables. We've got an out, which is going to a MIDI in on my MPC 2000 XL, and we've got a in, which is coming from my MPC 2000 XL. Yeah, okay, great. Here's another of the cables. Here's the input, as you can see here, and this is the output coming out of A. You got that? We're going to hook up now an MPC 2000 XL along with our Korg Triton Extreme. Okay, I've got an MPC 2000 XL. You saw the MIDI cables went in the back, you know, the handshake, where I've got the output of the Korg Triton going to the input of my MPC, which is on input 1, and then the output of my MPC, which is output A, going into my input on my Korg Triton, the MIDI input, of course. Now, a problem that happens generally when having the two machines play together is that the MPC will receive the MIDI data from your Korg Triton. Here's how to turn it off. What I'm going to do right now, I'm going to go move the cursor right here to the drum window. To drum right there, that's for the program. We'll turn the open window on, and here we'll make sure we have this thing called the pass is cut off. Let me get a pen so I can show you exactly what I'm talking about. Here it is right here, I got one. Right here is where it's at, right there. See that? Make sure that says no. Got our filter on there. The notes are here. Yep, everything else is good. That says no. We'll close the window. Next, we want to press Shift and Sync. And here in Sync, we've got our MIDI clock on. So we make sure that the MIDI clock information coming from the Korg Triton will be able to turn on that sequence within the MPC. We're going to make up a beat along with the one here on the Korg Triton. We'll use the MPC for a couple extra sounds. Okay, I got my brand new sequence. It's right there. That's sequence 11. Okay, the first thing I want to do is I want to make sure that here in my MPC that I set the timing function here to 16th notes. That's my quantized value. Got that? Okay, the everything else now. Now I'm going to hold down this record button. See, I hold the record button now, it turns red. Now the MPC is set to receive MIDI control from my Korg Triton Extreme. So I'm going to start the Korg Triton Extreme, and then the MPC will start to go into play while I'm in record. So I can record a drum part. Watch this. I'll move right over here, and I'll click on that. I'll make sure I press locate first. Then I'll click here. We got music, see that? And now the MPC is in sync. We can see it's in time. Once you can see here, we have this green light. Who involved? We got a green light. What's that green light there? That means we're in sync. See that? Great. Now watch this. I'll play a pad on the drums here. See, we're in sync now. We're actually using an extra drum pattern here with the MPC, which I prefer for my drum machine. I have my key parts here in my Korg Triton. I got an 808. Do some hi-hats. Let's find some hi-hats. Right there. So now I've got this in sync with my Korg Triton right over here. So I got the Triton, and I've got my MPC. Excellent. Now watch this, I'm going to turn the sound out here. And we can still hear the drums kicking right here in this machine. You see that? So we're using both machines in sync. I'll turn the music back up. Now if I turn off my Triton, it'll stop everything. See that? And that's how we can use an external device like an MPC 2000 XL to work with our Korg Triton Extreme. Thanks again. Of course, the Korg Triton Extreme is a great instrument. We love it. We use it here in the studio. Well, we're trying to teach you to get better with it. How to do that? You can join our online school at SampleKingsRecordingSchool.com and check us out there, because there we're getting real heavy, high-end professional stuff. You know what I'm saying? But for right now, I want you to get busy and learn your machine. I'll see you in a few. Ha ha.